Game Time finds you the best last-minute deals and guarantees the lowest price. Download Game Time now.
Nice shirt. Time to start eating better? If only it were that easy. Fresh and Lean thinks it is. Meals with fresh organic ingredients delivered to your door, ready to heat and eat in under 3 minutes. So if you're looking to eat healthier, we got you.
Back to the Rhino Ag Battle at the Fort, presented by Super Clean, hook number 3 on the 2021 season. We're here at Fort Recovery, Ohio, and Ambassador Park, covering the mini rods. Up next will be the Outlaw, driven by Brad Carrender. Quite a busy ride for sure there. Throttle sticking just a bit, it would appear, right at the very end. Rear tire still rotating. The distance here, 284.03.
Yeah, a little oil down on the track there, as well as we see Bruce Slaw kind of cleaning up the track a little bit there for Tyler Slaw. And he put together a new piece a couple years ago and trying to line it out for the season. I spoke with him earlier. Data can prove to be very vital to making your vehicle run well. So, Tyler, you had 2 passes 1 week ago, and so what did you learn from those passes?
It was consistent. It was top 5 both days with a 3rd and a 5th. Looking at the computer, downloading the runs, I think that there's things I can change to do better, but it's hard to mess with a setup that's been that consistent. So we're going to play the long game. We're going to leave it alone and just hope for more top 5s.
So in the past, we've kind of seen you play that hero or zero game. So what's kind of changed your mind?
The heroes are worth it, but the zeros aren't. So we're going to go for consistency.
Yeah, I mean, going back to 2016, this tractor has not finished outside of the top 5 of the points, and this team is as good as anybody out there. Of note, you can see his ankles up there literally beside the block of that power plant, as that one has certainly been adjusted as they chase a combination that might work just a little bit differently than everybody else and consequently yield some better distance. 263 was the mark that he put on the board there, a bit short of what he was hoping for as Grayson Shelton comes up. This one called the Splinter. These guys are so tough, and it doesn't matter what category they show up in. They're always contenders. 3, 12, and 87. We have a brand new leader. A solid effort there as he sails right past that leaderboard.
But the look on his face at the end of the run where he's kind of shaking his head, that's really puzzling. Evidently, he thought he had more in it. But what I love about this run is the fact that he gets that front end up early and drives that weight into those rear tires. And so a really great hole shot for him, and that's what helped carry him out the end, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shaking his head like he was frustrated. Something didn't go right. But, boy, that's a big number in comparison so far. This will be a good one to compare it to, though. These guys are just as tough anytime they show up. When you talk about the Boyds, they are synonymous with winning championships in truck and tractor pulling. Way out over the line there, a cloud of dust. Might not have been able to see where he was going. You talked about these guys struggling with vision from time to time. That one bouncing up and down. Greg Boyd aboard the Green Streak Green. That one's referred to with the green roll cage. And, man, he went for a wild ride, unfortunately out of bounds.
And while he's got lots of experience in a pro stock and a mod, he doesn't have it in the mini rod, so that could just be a learning curve for him.
Things happen really quick on these short, narrow wheelbase machines. Here comes the Show No Mercy team. And again, the Slaw is just so tough. He's going to come out here and go 3:03 and 47, so a good bit better than the Have No Mercy, as we saw Tyler drive just a couple of moments ago.
I think some of our teams are going to have to make some adjustments for this track, that they're having a hard time getting a hold of it. And while it may be hard to do as a competitor, I think they're going to have to detune a little bit so they can get hooked up to the track better.
Walk the line is what it's called. Ron Tobin behind the wheel. And he'll burn that one in at 295 and 98.
We were super excited to see Ron return to the track 1 year ago after a 20-plus year absence, and he's just picked up like he never left off.
Here comes the team tractor to Splinter. This one's called Sawed Off, driven by Grayson Shelton. Finished up second at our last hook in Benson. Drives it down through there hard on the throttle and puts 297 and 57 on the board. Looks like getting over that 300-foot mark is not going to be easy. We're about halfway through the category here for the mini rods. We'll take a quick break. There's a look at your top three as Grayson Shelton's leading the group by a bunch.
Cryptocurrency, DeFi, NFTs. Sounds confusing? BitLab Academy is here to help. We make it simple. Start investing in crypto, learn trading fundamentals, learn to mint and trade NFTs. Join our community today. Crypto for beginners, taught by the pros.
Show the world what it means to be a fan at Fanatics.
Cool. I mean, these guys are very, very good with data, so they collect it all. They know what changes to make, or at least to get into that window. And as he mentioned, he's already delivered for the first place at our last hook. Much calmer ride here than we saw his father take just a couple of hooks ago, and he's going to jump up into second place. So two young guns here leading this field, 3, 10, and 15.
And that's what makes the mini rods exciting as well. We've got a lot of second generation pullers, and so we see them out here with their fathers and their grandfathers, making their way down the track. And, nothing's quite like having seasoned eyes and experienced people out there to help give you advice when they've run these tracks for years and years and have tons of data on them.
Here comes another tractor that is consistently solid. He decides to chase points throughout the entire season. He's a tough one. Keith Horst behind the wheel of the Red Fox.
Last year it was a new engine for these guys. This year a new chassis, so they're going to have some R&D to do on the track.
Pulls back on the throttle there, ends up with a distance of 282 and 75. You can see a lot of fluid pouring out of the bottom of that one, as clearly he had some issues along the way.
Yeah, a lot of smoke out of that right bank of those headers as well.
Another solid veteran on the tour here is Richard Peters, pulling up here with the Buckeye to hook up to the sled, and we had a chance to speak with him.
So it wasn't the way I wanted to start this season, but Richard Peters, for you said you were right there as far as the numbers were concerned and being consistent with your passes. So what happened down there in Benson?
Well, I think right at the minute we're running a little bit too much bar on our tires for what's going on. I took a little off when we went home, so hopefully tonight we're going to be out there with them. But it's tough. There's 25 good tractors here that can win, but we're hoping to be at least up in the top 5. But other than that, I'd rather win. But we're going to give her a good shot.
And tires are so critical. Most teams have 3 sets of tires per tractor, and those tires get cut after every single hook.
Drives it down through here. It looked good, but 281 and 42, it's going to be well short of what he was hoping for, including the top 5.
A huge divot left at the end of that run and just really spinning it hard. Lots of loose dirt on top to compensate for.
Reese Shelton coming up here next with a tractor called Cutting Up. General Tire is going to give us a flashback to the season opening hook, where he ended up on top of the box.
Man, just to come out in Benson, North Carolina, very, very close to home for these guys, not far from New London, and to put a storming pass down like this had to feel good. And you can always count on these boys to be animated in the seat. And if they like what they've done out there on the track, they're going to show you.
Yeah, good stuff. And finished up with a fourth place finish on day number 2. Comes in here as the points leader. So they are off to a great start here. Wow, but he's going to miss it here. 292 and 37 for the cutting up is well short of what he needs to come out here and be a player today.
It seemed like he was really patient off the starting line, waiting to really go full throttle to try to find that hole shot that they've been looking for here that everybody's struggled with. And so, again, kind of going back to the basics of going old school of walking it out of the hole where we've seen other people just really go full throttle right away and try to let the tires catch up.
Yeah, and they did have a little bit of data to go off of with Splinter and Grayson going a little bit earlier as we take a look at Robbie Fagundes there working the brakes, making sure those pads are right up there close to that rotor. Just a beautiful mini rod for sure, called the Bank Roller, and he'll end up with a distance of 287 at 46.
And this is his first time back behind the wheel in quite some time. His daughter Jesslyn did the driving for the last several years on the Champions Tour circuit, and so he's going to have a little bit of a learning curve this year.
Matt Johnson, one of the final 3 tractors here to go inside of the category. That set back 1471 blower there on top of the motor. Help produces a ton of power. 293 and 48 will be the distance.
I've been really impressed with Johnson as he's come out here, a crossover from late model dirt tracks. That's why you see the 1X on the fenders out there, keeping everything nice and clean and red in his fleet. And so for his first year out here, he's been very, very impressive with the top 5 finish in the points so far after the first event in Benson.
Great looking tractor. We are down to the final 2, so we'll take a quick break here and see if anybody has anything for Grayson Sheldon, a big name in the business. We'll end up the category. Stay with us.
Go2 Bank, the ultimate banking app and debit card. Your go-to for exclusive perks like overdraft protection. Get paid up to 2 days early and no monthly fees with direct deposit. Open an account at go2bank.com.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get
at the Rhino Ag Battle at the Fort, presented by Super Clean. We also have the Superstock diesel trucks ready to rock and roll as well, so don't go anywhere as CJ Grayson comes up here next.
Part of that Richardson team that we saw earlier on in the category. A lot has changed in the track and weather conditions since that hook, though.
And burns that one in at 287 and 78. And I got to tell you, I mean, late in the hook, based on all the 290 distances here, that's a pretty solid effort.
And I love the ground speed initially. It just seems like he didn't have that finishing power on the top end.
And speaking of second and third generation pullers, here comes Dylan Bunnage. And the Bunnage name certainly has been very successful out here in the Supermod category. Way over by the white line, goes over it. He will unfortunately be DQ'd on this effort.
What I love his thinking, we saw Greg Boyd go over there as well. There's a good biting track over there. He's just got to keep it in bounds, which is hard to do.
Clearly some front-end damage there as well with this thing bouncing up and down as it all but ripped the right front off. But you can watch him cross the chalk line right there. A wild ride. Hanging in that throttle, though, was absolutely not afraid.
Yeah, so much bite in the track. If he could only kept it straight, I think we could have seen him sail out to the end and really challenge the leader.
So good stuff. A very exciting category here, to say the least, are the mini rods, and the fans absolutely love them. Only 6 feet wide and loaded up with a ton of power. Let's go down to the podium and talk to third place, Art Mendez.
Tough enough being the first hook of the class, but it's even tougher when you got to go out there and you hold it throughout the night and you make it to the podium. So is it first time luck or skill here at Fort Recovery?
Oh, I guess it depends on what you want to say. I will say skill, and the fact I got a good crew with me too. So my friend here, or my crew chief Brian Whitavin, and then my crew members that couldn't make it tonight, Mike Marsh and Brad DeBoer. They're a huge help with
You
getting
have
this
to
track
touch
built
the
and track
address,
every
buddy.
weekend, so.
And we'll take a look at our final distances and the order here for this evening. Hook number 3 on the 2021 season. And as we talked about before, this category just loaded up and some 20 tractors deep. It is absolutely amazing with tough competition. But at the end of the night, it's going to be 2 young guns standing at the top of the box.
It's second tonight for you, Austin. How stressful was it to have both your classes running at the same time tonight and to still be able to perform out there?
You know, it was really intense. We run the mini rod, got right off the mini rod and got back in the big tractor. And the Shelton team's been battling with us all year. They got 3 really good pieces. Tonight, Grayson won on the splinter tractor. The tractor was in first in the points, ended up 9th. So we didn't get the number 1 spot, but I believe we catapulted to number 1 in the points. So it's a good night.
Yeah, consistency is key here because it's going to be a long season.
It's going to be a long season. It's going to be a fun season. We're looking forward to it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's a look at the points with 2 of the biggest names in pulling up there at the top. The Boyds and the Sheltons. Don't count those slaws out by any stretch of the imagination. So it'll be a great season to say the least. Austin Boyd there finishing up in second, but it's Grayson Shelton who will win tonight.
So, Grayson, it was a really tough track out there, and you ended up on top. What was the secret to your success tonight?
We just kind of found a different spot on the track out there that nobody ran on, and we first tracked to the team and moved it over there. Me and my brother talked about it and just drove it out of the hole, got aggressive with it, and it went down the track. And, you know, awesome job by everybody here at Fort Recovery. Awesome job, everybody with Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. You know, our team at home. My sister, she can't be here, is actually driving her tractor, so she was rooting it on from home. We couldn't be more happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
That'll wrap the action up with the mini rods, but we are far from done. The Superstock diesel trucks are ready to roll some coal. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Super Clean, not just clean, super clean. And by Rhino Ag, born to lead.
It's on your message.
Show the
It's
world
on
what
your
it means to
messenger.
be a fan at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Each year, Americans waste $21 billion by overpaying on car insurance. That's why I went to thezebra.com. Because while every company claims to save you money on car insurance, the Zebra shows you who actually can.
Compare car insurance for free at thezebra.com today.
For the season, it was still a great run for the championship. These things will weigh in at 7,500 pounds with 460 cubic inch maximum for the power plants. Awesome vehicles for sure. They make a ton of power.
Don't worry about that. Just delete it.
And a great effort here from the angry farmer, Todd Dugan.
They're not
307
gonna work.
will be the mark to beat.
I deleted
307
them.
and 90, so just short of that 308 mark.
And this is his 3rd year with a 2-truck team. And, you know, without a lot of hooks, 1 year ago, just 5 on the Champions Tour circuit. He didn't get a lot of seat time to kind of line that out. However, he's storming out of the box this year. I know he's got a little help with him this weekend. Carl Atley, a former champion in the category, on his pit crew this weekend. So that's definitely a bonus for him.
A look at that pulling order there with some talented pullers inside of this category that have really developed as this category has developed over the course of time. And These are absolute pulling machines with full tube chassis allowed inside of these things, upwards of 3 turbos. I mean, there's some complex stuff going on here and a lot of power, and they really got to drive these things or they'll get in trouble quickly as Matt Clemens comes up here next. But really didn't go full throttle until a good bit into that hook, 295 and 36.
That's the unique part about this class is that most of the pullers that we see out here on the track by the 75 to 100 foot mark, they're full throttle. With this category, because they make so much power to get it off the line, they've really got to get the RPMs up high and then bring them back down so that they don't blow the tires off and just sit there and spin on the track and not go anywhere. So as a driver, you've got to be very aware of that, really working the throttle hard, and you can see that throttle work in the smoke coming out of those stacks.
Here's a look at how the points ended up just 1 year ago. It was a much shorter season than typical, but still a tough battle at the top there. Just 14 points separating two of the biggest names in the category with Kent Crowder and Van Hazley. Of course, Cody Hastings, Eric Stacey, Shane Kellogg. I mean, all of those drivers extremely talented and very, very capable.
Andrew Grove up next here, the truck called Bad Timing, as he's jumping in here with his 3.6 or Pro Stock diesel truck to try to make a lap here and get some data.
Wow, and he does a great job. 292 and 40. You heard a couple of small hops in there, but man, he was nice and smooth through the throttle, drove right through that stuff and kept digging.
And remember, he's a single charger truck, so he's going to be down a little bit on horsepower compared to everyone else.
Yeah, that was a great effort, no doubt. As we watched the Rock Hard Ram and Van Hazley back up to the sled, Leslie had a chance to speak with him earlier today.
What was probably the most consistent season that we've seen out of the Rock Hard Ram van, but still came up a little bit short. Do you think you're going to be able to pick up where you left off last season?
I sure hope so, Leslie. We haven't had a lot of time with the whole COVID thing. Parts are hard to get this year. I've got customers I don't have their engines done, and I'm sorry. But it's just industry-wide. You and I was talking earlier, and it's just unfortunate. But it's the realm of the world right now, so we're going to work through this. Last year, I was so happy with the truck. The whole crew, my shop, and the truck, we all worked together in harmony. We had a really good year. We had one little minor $5 fitting that failed, and that cost us a championship, but there's nothing we can do about that. We don't cry over spilt milk. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, he kicked the season off with 3 consecutive wins a year ago, and then in the Lions, as he was talking about, he struggled there, just one small stumble, and it cost him the championship for sure. Everything back on now and digging hard, 298 and 52. Won't be enough to take over the lead, but a very respectable effort.
And it doesn't get much better than the patience that you see out of the Rock Hard Ram on the line here. And one thing that these super stock diesel trucks will have to contend with are the track conditions here this weekend. You know, usually at Fort Recovery, we see a little bit more of a power track here. It's a little dusty on top. There's some moisture coming up underneath. I think it got a little wet with the impending weather this week. They had planned very, very well, put a lot of water in it. So that on top of that is making it a little bit spongy. And these trucks really like a hard track.
That 298 effort good enough for second place as we take a look at the Trump machine and Shane Kellogg. And he asked some more of that thing, but it was really late in the hook. Hardly any time left to even really go full throttle with that thing, and he'll end up with a distance of 289 and 60. So there's a look at your top 3 as it stands right now. Plenty of action yet to go. Stay with us.
What's my safe flight story? I'm a photographer, and when I'm driving, I see inspiration right through my glass. So when my windshield cracked, it had to be fixed right. I scheduled with Safe Flight Auto Glass. Their experts replaced my windshield and recalibrated my car's advanced safety system. Safe Flight is the one I trust. They focus on safety, so I can focus on this view.
Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace.
At Fresh and Lean, we are simply doing what humans have done for ages. Nurturing nature. Transforming food into meals. Sounds simple. Because simple works. We like it that way. Natural matters. Organic matters. Flavor matters. Nutrition matters. And so
they're very, very good at what they do. All right, he's going to skinny up into the top three at 297 and 76.
We see those tires going to work early as he bounces a little bit off of the line, and we don't usually see that from the smoking machine. And so he backs out of the throttle to get it settled back down before he really gives it all that fuel to put the power into the ground. Because if you're bouncing in one of these trucks and then you try to increase your ground speed, you're just going to hop and hop and hop, and you'll never get it lined out. So a very smart move there on the starting line.
Here comes Todd Dugan once again with the Angry Farmer products. This one called the Angry Shine, the polish of excellence.
Taking his time.
Again, nice and smooth. It looked beautiful, but unfortunately the distance not what he's hoping for at 287 and 10.
And that extra patience on the starting line, I think, cost him on the top end because he just didn't have the ground speed once the box topped off on the sled to keep going.
Here comes Ken Crowder, the three-time champ in the last 4 years behind the wheel of the Scheid diesel machine. And he's going to burn in a little bit short of 290 as well. Just goes to show you how tough it is out here. And I think you're exactly right, Leslie. Just a little bit loose up there on the top. You can't get down in there and get some of it. You're going to be in trouble.
Ken's also experimenting with a few new things. I really tried to get it out of him what he was experimenting with, and he said it's something that we usually don't mess with. So if I was a betting woman, I'm going to say it's probably the tires out here. You know, we heard Eric Stacy talk about tires. Usually these guys just leave their tires alone. They really don't try to experiment. But as the field gets so much tighter and the competition that much tougher, you've got to find an edge where you can. And it may take some growing pains to get there, but you've got to do that to find it.
With the exception of 2020, here's another truck that is constantly inside of the top 5 of the points and a threat for the championship. It's the Caretaker, driven by Chase Eller. Boy, just wicked RPMs out of that thing. You can see where that sled topped off as well. And he'll end up with a distance of 288 and 63.
Talk about wicked RPMs. I think they say somewhere between 5 and 6 at the top end. And we're talking about between 3,500 and 4,000 horsepower these guys make.
Justin Gerhardt drives the truck called Cream of the Crop. Finished up third in the points in 2017. Leslie spoke to him.
It was a little bit of an experimental year 1 year ago for you. So coming into this year, what did you learn? What are you going to take away? And how are you going to improve Cream of the Crop this year with that knowledge?
We made several changes to hitch last year. We tried different adjustments. Some the truck liked, some didn't. We think we're going to keep building on that. And the turbo change, we're still working on how to drive it. They're a little more snappy, a little more crisp than the old set. So a little more patience on good tracks like this. That's about it.
So, you know, we saw you a couple years ago make all the events and chase that championship pretty hard. So is there a possibility that this is where it all begins for you and the run starts here?
We're going to try to. We really like pulling with the PPL. And, Lucas does really good getting everything organized and gets us good events to go to. So it's always a good time to go.
Everybody, I mean, these are some really, really good trucks that we've seen here as of late with the Shy Diesel, the Caretaker, the cream of the crop, and all of these guys in here at 289, 288, scrapping for all they can get. Here comes another tough player, 2018 champ inside of the category, second in the points in 2019, and third just 1 year ago. He's a player. Let's see what he's got. Cody Hastings against the grain. Going to end up right with that group as well at 287 and 62. Just doesn't seem like there's much left.
I'm really surprised to see these guys all putting the truck in the center of the track. I mean, it's 40 feet wide out there. They've got a different place that they could choose, and we'll see if our last truck makes an adjustment here as we take a look at our top three.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by K&N, filtration for the future. Line X. This is Line X country. And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
Ford presented by Super Clean. Class very, very close as a number of really good trucks have burnt in here in the 280-foot mark. But 307 and 90 is the mark that they're trying to beat. The angry farmer, Todd Dugan, set that as the first hook in the category. This is the final hook in the category. It's called the Nut Job, driven by Brian Withrow. Pours all the coal to it right there at the very end, but will end up well short of what he needs to win here this evening at that distance of 284 and 73. Tough category, I mean, no doubt about it, as these guys are trying to find that sweet spot, the magic to try and get out over that 300-foot mark. It certainly proved to be very tough. With that said, there was one truck that was able to get it done. Let's recap it for you, courtesy of Super Clean.
Eric Stacy and the Smokin' Ya coming in at third place. Those vital R&D trips down the track from 1 year ago, helping him out. And those new tires, I think they're working out well for him.
Yeah, beautiful job. And then, of course, the rock hard Ram, driven by Van Hazley, comes out here, betters him just a little bit as he put 298 and 52 up on the board.
And it'll be Todd Dugan standing on top of the box here with the Angry Farmer truck as he gets the setup right as the first vehicle of the night, the test puller, and he forges his way down to the end and spins it in hard past 300 feet, the only one.
And no doubt thinking to himself, I'm really glad that I kept that hook. Always a big question anytime you're the test puller, the first one out on the category. As we take a look at the final results here, round number one of the 2021 season is off and running for sure. The podium is busy. Leslie Mears is headed down to talk to the top two. And of course, we're so happy to be back and tractor pulling once again. Leslie?
Well, he's continuing the podiums from 1 year ago. And Ben, you told me it's a little bit of a driver's track out there tonight.
Oh, extremely. And it was luck tonight. You know, all of us guys that are in the top three tonight, we were early numbers. And so the track was a really, really good track, but it was just a little bit on the dry side, possibly, Leslie. And we just did not, it took a lot of finesse to get your truck set and